There are thousands of people making a full-time income reselling stuff that other people have thrown out. So if you're thinking about getting started, maybe you want to leave your corporate job or drop out of school, I want to let you know it is possible. And to help you guys get started, I want to show you 10 type of items you can find that are usually readily available at a thrift store or garage sale. So with that being said, we're going to jump into my computer. You're not going to take my word for it. I'm going to show you the exact listings, the exact items to look out for. So stick around. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Millionaire Mindset. Sam here to provide value to help you grow personally and financially. Today I want to talk about how you can make a full-time income reselling stuff that other people have thrown out. In America, we're in a country of complete abundance. Everybody's throwing out stuff that is actually worth money. So I'm going to walk you guys through 10 type of items that you can sell, and usually these items are readily available at a thrift store or garage sale. Without further ado, I'll jump into the first type of item. So the first type of item is going to be a Sony Walkman. Now this is something that you probably have just either walked by if you're at a thrift store, or maybe you've seen it at a garage sale, or maybe you're brand new. But I want to let you know these things are valuable. As you can see here, they're selling for a crazy amount of money, $127. And these are all listings that have sold today. So all these have sold either today, and except this one that sold yesterday. This one sold for $100, $200. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what it is about these Walkmans, but you have to keep an eye out for vintage music players or stuff like that, like vintage headphones, vintage cassette players, stuff like that. And that leads me into my next type of item, which is a vintage record player. And I find these all the time at Savers, Goodwill, Salvation Army, wherever I may be looking. There's so many places you can go to find these type of items. So on that note, with the record players, you really want to make sure it is an actual valuable record player. Not all of them are going to be selling for this, obviously. So $175 for this one, $156 for this one. It doesn't even look like it's completely functioning. $125 for this one. So record players are kind of coming back in. A lot of people in the younger generation are buying records. They're getting back into records, so they're looking to get that nostalgia of having an old record player to play their old records on. And it kind of makes sense to me. I do find these to be pretty readily available. You want to make sure they're actually functioning before you buy them, obviously. So if you are going to be getting into electronics, I recommend carrying a small little screwdriver and some replacement batteries for perhaps the Walkman or some other type of electronic. That way you don't get home thinking that you just hit a big score and you actually have to go return it, or you have to do something else with it because there's something wrong. So keep that in mind. Moving on to the next item is going to be Nike shoes. These are usually the older ones, but these are just absolutely ridiculous. Like a lot of these I don't really find to be too attractive, especially these old Nike Dunks. $60, $200 for these fresh Prince looking ones, so they call them. $100 for the Cortezes, $120. These ones are brand new. $200 for these old Jordans. Pretty crazy, honestly. So not all type of Nikes, again, are going to be worth this much. I've picked up quite a few thinking that I've just hit a huge score, but what you want to do is look up the number in the inner tag and try to find another sold listing on eBay or whatever platform you may be using to see the actual value. You don't want to pick up something that isn't going to be selling quickly either. You want to, all these items are in demand. People are going to want to buy them. They're not going to stick around for your house or your inventory for 6 months or a year or something like that. So my next item that I want to show you guys is going to be artwork. And I find artwork all the time at a Goodwill, thrift store, or a Goodwill or a garage sale, I mean. And these people at the thrift store really have no clue how to price them. So they usually are out there for $5, $10 no matter what. They don't really have time to look up everything. And with artwork it can be a little tricky because sometimes it's hard to read the person's signature or really get a good idea on the painting. But if you do, you can find some insane deals. And on that note, actually, sometimes the frames of these pieces of art are actually worth more than the art themselves. So keep an eye out for a nice frame, as you see in this listing here. Looks like it has a really nice gold frame, and those can be worth some good money as well. But $175 for this George Washington painting. $100 for this. It's just a boat on an ocean. Pretty crazy. $85. This one is just a print, so it's not actually a canvas painting. So moving on to the fifth type of item you can sell is going to be power tools. So far we have vintage electronics like Walkman record players, old shoes, and canvas paintings. So the fifth one is going to be power tools. Power tools I used to pass on all the time, but after finding out other people were selling them, it is a great market to enter into. $56 for this hammer drill, $90 for this drill hole shooter. Pretty insane. If you find stuff that's new, it's going to be worth even more. Might even scroll down, see what else we can find. You want to look for the tools themselves. $60, $100. Obviously, keep looking everything up until you know a certain market. I recommend becoming really knowledgeable about a certain type of item, so you don't have to spend all your time looking up every single thing you find in the thrift store. Just make sure you master one category so you can find stuff quickly, then move on to another category. But you can always be learning, but make sure you're always trying to focus in on one category to really learn about, instead of trying to learn all about all these type of items at one time. So the next type of item, this one might surprise you, is just going to be Disney plush. It's pretty crazy, and it's also really cheap and easy to ship and store. So these items are usually pretty much in demand. It doesn't have to be Disney necessarily, but this one would have sold for $94. I see that it's brand new, but you can find these usually with the tag still on them pretty often. $20 for these Jasmine dolls. $18.99 for this one. $25 for this one. $35 for this one. And these are going to be selling for $1 or $2, so you probably are going to get a pretty crazy ROI if you're selling plush. And I know a lot of people have made some really good money selling plush. It's usually just everywhere. Every thrift store has a section for this type of stuff, and a lot of garage sales have no idea that they may have some valuable plush. So keep an eye out. Try to look up the tags again, see what the stuff is worth before you place an order. Starbucks coffee mugs. So this one is another surprising one. $75 for this Edmonton mug, and it just sold today. Like, I didn't filter by highest prices. I didn't filter anything. I just scrolled and see what was selling today. So as you can see, these items are just selling like crazy. $50 for a mug. It's just that collectible thing that people want. Fort Worth. So keep an eye out for these cities. Seems like they're going for a good amount of money. Anything that's like a little bit older, you can be able to probably flip for a good amount of money. $60, $20, $40. Yeah, it's pretty insane, honestly. I wouldn't imagine anyone trying to charge you more than like $3 or $4 for a mug. But again, as you can see, not all of them are worth $50, but you can probably get a good idea of these similar styles that are going to be worth some money with the cityscape right there. Kind of insane, actually. $60 for a mug. So moving on, we have a used printer. Used printers are everywhere and anywhere, and you can usually get a good deal on them as well. One of my biggest flips is actually a used printer. So I think it was either a printer or a typewriter. But yeah, it was one of my biggest flips. It sold for over $300, and it was an IBM Selectric. Just an old school typewriter, actually, so it wasn't a printer. But keep an eye out for typewriters. I'll give you a bonus one for that. And those are going to be heavy and hard to ship. I want to give you guys another tip as well. So a lot of people, they're not going to want to ship this item out. They're going to pass on this item because it's going to be a hassle to ship. But if you guys can master a task that other people don't want to do, you're going to find a lot less competition in that category. You're not going to be competing with other people who are reselling, and you're going to be able to charge a premium price because you're not fighting over, you're not doing a price war with your competition, trying to just fly out items out of your store. So if you can master like shipping out larger items or heavier items, you're probably going to do really well. But you can do well with any of these categories. Just wanted to give you guys that tip. So the next thing that I want to show you guys is printer ink. So printer ink, as you guys may know, this is where the companies really make their money. They make more off of the ink than they do for the actual printer. So that's really where the money is, if you can find the ink. Obviously the printers still go for good money, $65, $165, $160, but the ink, no one's going to charge you more than like $3 or $4 for ink unless they, recently bought it for $38 like this. But usually you'll find a lot. This is just a lot of about 9 of them, and they sold for $185, $30 just for some ink. You can probably pick this up for $3 or $4 a box, maybe less. I once found like a huge lot of them at Goodwill, and I didn't look them up or anything. and I just passed on them, and I really regret it because there was like 10 different brand new inboxes or like inks, and that was unbelievable. But I didn't know how much they were actually going for. I didn't think to look them up either. I just really had no idea ink was going to be that valuable. So the last thing you guys can sell is sporting goods. So for this example, I looked up golf clubs. Just one single golf club, $62, $179, $30, $80. I know a lot of people who go out there and they try to get these golf clubs for a good price. I personally shop a lot at the Goodwill outlets, commonly known as the bins, because you can get stuff by the pound. And there's this guy who comes every single day, and then the only thing he buys is golf clubs. And I know some people have trouble not being able to sell them very quickly, so again, make sure you're looking for these brand names that are probably going to be easier to sell, like Ping and Callaway, stuff like that. But yeah, so those are the main categories I think you guys are going to do well on. So just to sum it up, it's going to be electronics, clothing, artwork, tools, plush, breakables, and golf clubs, or sporting goods, I mean. As you can see, it is possible to make a full-time income reselling stuff that other people don't want. Maybe you don't want to work a 9-to-5 for the rest of your life or spend thousands of dollars on a college degree that you may not even use. I want to let you guys know this is a viable way to make money. There's thousands of people doing it. Competition is getting a little higher because people are seeing that it is possible, but there's still so much stuff being thrown out on a daily basis that there's enough to go around for everybody. So I hope this video helped you guys out. Maybe leave a comment letting me know which category surprised you. I know for me the Starbucks one was probably the most surprising, and the Nike shoes are going for $100 a pop. Kind of crazy. So hope this helped you out again. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more eBay and e-commerce related content. See you guys in the next video.